Okay, so welcome back to this graduation speech I'm making. Before I go any further, let me just say I'm sorry that my speech is condensed because there's a certain limit of my YouTube channel, and that's why I have to condense it to the way it's been. So if you're wondering why I've condensed my speech at different points, well, now you know. So I just want to apologize for that and trust that you would take the time to listen to what I'm speaking and that you'll be impacted and that you're successful no matter what as the speech continues of my speech to you, as well as speaking for myself, based on the class of 2020. So I left off with the fact of this question. People could ask me and say, what is the one thing you're going to miss from high school? Well, I've already mentioned the fact of teachers. And I've mentioned all these great teachers. And there's two other teachers there's one other teacher I failed to mention. And that is Mr. Vectors. Mr. Vectors taught me speech and how I have to have visible eye contact. When I was younger, I was shy to death. For those of you who know me way back in elementary school and North Carolina, I was shy. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk to any stranger. I just wanted to talk to my friends, and that was it. But then, after I got saved and trusted Christ the Savior, I began to have fun. Why? Because I was telling them about Jesus. And I'll focus on that thought in just a moment. But the fact of Miss A, though, she taught me how to make eye contact. She taught me how to write speeches. She taught me how to talk and use my positive manner, as well as expressing my own feelings, expressing my own personal opinions about topics. I don't want to talk about opinions on topics like that. I just want to talk to you about this speech and what this speech is all about. So I want to say to Miss A, thank you so much for the way you've taught me some things when I was in your class last year, junior year. That was one of the most happiest classes in my life. That's one class I never forget for the rest of my life. And so I say, Mr. Vectors, thank you so much for taking the time to help us to understand opinions, topics, things like that, and we debated about it. I don't want to debate about anything with this speech. It's just like a thank you speech and a word of hope and a word of encouragement to the class of 2020 to keep going and keep moving forward at this time. So I mentioned the fact of teachers, and I shared a few of my quote. So what is it that I'm going to miss in high school? Well, I'm going to miss several things. I'm going to miss my teachers. I mentioned to you all these teachers I've already said. I miss school. I've missed my friends of the past, my teachers of the past. I'm going to miss them. But I also miss another friend of mine. When I was sophomore year, I met a guy, and I heard of him. I knew who he was, but I never really knew him that well. And those of you who are familiar with someone in high school, you know the name. Will Knight. I had a nickname for him, Smoking Will Knight. I don't say that as a means of, as he smokes and then no, I mean he smokes because he just with the football he just ran. He just ran with the football and just runs all the way for a touchdown. Those of you who don't know Will Knight and those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, find the video on YouTube where he scores a 90 touchdown run, 90-yard touchdown run from the 10-yard line of the end zone, and you see what I'm talking about. But about Will Knight, I wouldn't be the person I would be today if it wasn't for Will Knight. I'll tell you what I mean. You see, Will Knight was a popular kid. I wanted to have a class with him, but I never did. He was so smart. He was so nice to people. And what impacted me was this. Teachers just flocked to him. Teachers just hugged him and encouraged him so much. And along with that, he encouraged them to keep going forward. Things like that. Well, now if you're listening to me, I don't know if you remember me or not, but remember the time me and my dad took you out to Pizza Hut that time? because you're just an awesome young kid, young guy, and now you're going to the University of Delaware, and you're going to be successful one day because of your faithfulness, because of your determination to not quit, not give up, no matter what the cost may be. So I say, Will Knight, thank you so much for impacting me so much, and I'm not going to go in detail, but he was a really inspiring man, and just looking at his face, just talking to people after the game and talking to the fans, he just loved his community so much. I asked him the last time I saw him, I said, what's the one thing you're going to miss from high school? He said, all my friends who have supported me, because he supported them back. So I say to Will Knight, thank you so much for impacting people like me, because you reached out to me so that we as other people can reach out a hand to other people. I can see one day in high school at the football stadium a statue, and I'm sure Miss Cook and Mr. Cabernet would agree with me when I say this, but I can picture one day next to the football stadium a statue, two statues. One, Nolan Henderson throwing the football, and number two, Will Knight running with the football. This is part 3 of my speech, so stay put. Part 4 will begin shortly.